Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have a few different things to go and talk about because PlayStation actually has a lot of random little side features that most people don't really realize, have used, or even know because they're not usually pretty much heavily promoted. And as well, we also are now finally seeing the ending and removal, which we talked about in a separate video, of one of the bigger accolades too as well that are now pretty much gone at this point. So I kind of figured it'd be a kind of a nice double whammy video because we've been seeing some promotion, seeing talks about other features, and a little bit of critiques, and as well kind of talk about what features we would actually like to see in the future. So on top of this too, we just have a lot of little various things, little cool features, and cool little things that people forget about. So hope you guys all enjoyed the video itself, and if you guys have ever actually used any of these features, leave a comment down below. And as well, if you guys ever have other feature ideas and concepts you guys would like for these consoles as well, let me know in the comment section down below. As well, if any of you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. As well, for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway, we have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below, target links we keep on seeing folks getting, and of course the Amazon, we've been seeing that popping off quite a bit all throughout this past few days, so be on the lookout for that. So if you guys kind of missed this, we've had a lot more of the PlayStation features kind of get brought up a decent amount when it comes to just everything here. We're seeing these accolades, we're seeing these basically everything tied on in, and this is also in regards to stuff that happened before. So it's kind of sparked up a lot more conversation in the community because we've been seeing a lot of these kind of somewhat mediocre features, such as with the Xbox, such as the PlayStation, and all of that. So with this, they have the total accolades going on, which, if you guys remember, this is now officially going to be removed. This is in regards to in the fall, in a few months from now, we're going to be pretty much gonzo forever. And this was like if you were playing a multiplayer game and you were helpful or you were nice or whatever, playing with your friend, they had a chance to go and, well, give you like a nice little cool accolade to go and see. But the funny thing is that most people did not even have any accolades on their profile. Even for my own self too, as a PlayStation 5 guy, I literally have had 0 accolades on my entire profile. Mainly because I do a lot more of the multiplayer gaming on my, like say, on PC. But you know, I play single player games on PS5. But if you guys even want to go and check and see this, you just go to the PS5 home screen, select your user profile icon in the top right, choose profile, and then select accolades, and you guys can go and see. And even for even these articles out there, if like me, you have absolutely 0 accolades, don't feel bad though, mainly because we just haven't had a chance to have a lot of these folks use these different types of features, which is why it's going away. But there's actually even more features nowadays that most people don't even use, don't even know if it's there, or don't even really care at the end of the day. I'm going to talk about some of these too because, well, we're finally getting rid of some of these obsolete features we don't fully need. So the PlayStation 5 features most people forget about. If the Switcher won't actually switch games, what is actually the point of it? And some of this is also in comparison to the Xbox too, because they're kind of similar features, but not fully there. So earlier on this month, as we talked about, the PlayStation removed the accolade feature for the multiplayer, which was basically a reasonable absolute, basically just no one was using the thing called accolades. And allowed basically, as we just went through, people had a chance to give award points and basically give people like some good props throughout a game too as well. So the PS5 is an effectively designed machine with a slew of helpful features and an impressive suite of accessibility options, alongside a neat built-in guide that offers hints for brain-stumping games. But all these consoles could actually go get rid of some of these side features that literally almost never uses, which is kind of intriguing for this one too as well. So there's actually a cool feature called the Explore feature. Well, basically, if you boot up your PlayStation 5, you can actually immediately land on an icon for the Explore app, which basically serves as a funnel for press releases from PlayStation. So I'm sure some people may glance at this, but I think most people either look at Twitter or Reddit or YouTube videos like mine, because we do cover up a lot of this brand new news, or I say like PSVR 2 news or stuff like that. But with this one, it's kind of intriguing because it basically is a small column of new items for your games, which basically means a game to fall underneath that category, you need to have at least played it once, which means you'll start to find yourself getting notifications for Warframe or Rocket League or whatever, despite not actually really cared about those games in a while. So even for them, they've had a PS5 since launch, and they've used the Explore app exactly 0 times, and you actually can't even go get rid of it though as well. You can at least go and clean it on up, because you can actually go and adjust some stuff in the home screen, remove some stuff in the home screen, etc. etc. So that's a big thing too, and if you guys use any of these features we bring up, leave a comment down below. But as we mentioned, the Explore feature is, well, kind of a rough one when it comes to the app. Just I myself have never personally used this. But the biggest one I think is on the Switcher side, where despite its silly marketing inspired name, the dark horse feature this console generation is actually, funny enough, like pretty much the Xbox's quick resume. Next-gen consoles can suspend more than a dozen games at a time, which basically just means like the game is in that awkward limbo for you to restart it, allowing you to swap between them without having to sit through the boot up period for each one, which I think is usually nice. It does save you some time, and it also keeps your save stats into tack 2 as well. So quick resume has been transformatively helpful. At first glance, though, it's easy to assume the PS5 switcher feature, an icon on the main toolbar, does the same thing. But funny enough, it actually doesn't, and I myself also have never used this switcher feature. So basically for this one, it shows your 2 most recently played games and 1 most recently used app. So let's say you use like, YouTube, Netflix, or whatever. That should show up, which I think is a nice feature that I could see myself using, especially if I'm like laying in bed, relaxing with my console, or whatever it may be. I'm actually kind of down with that. I think that's kind of cool. But the big thing is on the recent games is you only have the most 2 recent games, maybe not necessarily like your favorite. Like, so let's say you play like a Fortnite, Rocket League, whatever, Apex, you may want that instead of, say, like your most 2 recent played games, which would definitely lead into issues. So for this example of why it might be skeptical compared to the Xbox one we just mentioned, basically God of War for his Horizon Forbidden West, you can go and have that kind of switch from that to a different game. So next time I want to say is maybe God of War Ragnarok, you basically would still have to start it from scratch and vice versa. So that is kind of the one big struggle too, because in theory, you don't really need this because you still have to restart from like, the starting page in the first place. And as well, it doesn't necessarily like insta-load. Like it's not like perpetually always like at 99% and then you just press this one button and then it instantly launches. You still have to go through the boot screen. You still have to load the game and all of that. So like it's a cool feature in theory. Maybe this would be a better feature for PS6. Like, let's say you can simultaneously have like 5 or 6 games just like kind of not, like I said, like 99% running in the background and ideally not affecting other games. And they can just instant launch it with a button. Like, that'd be cool. But with the switcher feature like this, I can maybe see this being good for the media apps because, maybe you just get bored from a game, bored of Call of Duty, you go launch up YouTube, Netflix. I can see that, but I feel like probably no one ever uses the switcher feature overall. They also do have a universal search. On the upper right corner of the PS5's home screen, directly next to the console setting menu, there's actually a search function. But even the article is calling out saying one question, why? Sure, you can punch in a game, and the search function will show you where you can find it on your console, but for most individual apps, say on the PlayStation Store or the PS Hub, they already have their own search function, including a system-wide bar is redundant, which I can maybe see this maybe possibly being good for, say, like PS5 factory resets or like PS5, like certain, I don't know, like weird storage things. You have like a weird maybe settings option you want to go and find, but I do kind of agree with this as well. Some of these things are just overall not needed. PlayStation Store, it's already there. PS-wide hub, say for your like main homepage when you launch the console, it's already there. So do you really need to have like a universal search? Like I said, I can maybe see stuff for like, say, a factory reset or, maybe like language options, sure. But it really doesn't seem like that big of a feature. They also have other storage too as well. So as the vestige from the PlayStation 4 days, you go to download a 50 gigabyte game, you have 50 gigabytes of free space, and then the console says you need to clear 10 gigabytes to make room. But the same issue persists in the PS5. Anytime you download a game, it'll fill up the games and apps section on the console's internal SSD, but also add data to the other section for no clear reason to as well. So the official statement says the storage space is reserved for system data needed for games and apps to work properly. The amount of space reserved depends on how your console is being used. So it's kind of funny because people are like, well, why is it just not fully underneath the game feature? Maybe there's like certain maybe updates or maybe console updates or like controller updates or whatever tied on in, but it doesn't really make too much sense too because they're not really clarifying it. Like the system itself won't clarify what this section is actually used for too as well. So maybe like just put it all underneath storage or system storage at the end of the day. They also do have the big thing as well with the new version of wireless controller device software is available too as well. And basically like it's funny because even then they're like, hey, we'll just notify me after 24 hours option from now until it releases the PS6. So there is like a few little side options too that are just not really needed. As we've kind of been seeing doing like a systems audit from, say, the accolades that kind of came out, which makes sense, but it is kind of sad because it just, like, these features have potential, say, like the switcher, if you had that launch through the SSD in like a limbo system, kind of how they do for Xbox's quick resume, I could see people using it, or some other various like system searches as well. If it's for everything, I can maybe see people using it, but right now these features are probably not that needed, and a little bit more on the niche side too. We don't necessarily need to have people using it nonstop. So kind of give me your thoughts Have you guys been active users of the Explorer, the Switcher, or any of these things already for the PS5? Or are they duds? Have you guys ever used Accolades as it's now been gone? Leave a comment down below and let me know, as well as make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. We have the Twitter link down below, Twitch link down below, and of course the Target links if you guys want to keep on checking and seeing for that one. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching.